Antimo. He has some great stuff for us tonight. And what I'm going to do is if participants join the meeting as we're going, I'm just going to let them enter and we'll just let Antimo just continue on. So welcome, and Antimo, take it away.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for agreeing to this. I was actually the instigator, if you will, of this meeting, because knowing that there are so many people that had face-to-face meetings, and now this situation, this crisis has made us live all inside, I reached out and said, hey, Tonya and Christine, would you be interested in putting a video call on Zoom for your group? Also followed by the fact that I work also in the space of leadership development, aside from being involved in travel with my company. And I have been, this crisis, this current circumstances, if you will, have really resonated with me on a leadership thought level to act and react to what's going on, so that maybe with my passion, with my talent and other people's talent, we can affect the way the world is going to look like tomorrow. And so I put together a small video that I'm going to share with you. And I got a call from an Italian, Andrea Scasso, who does the Italian Hour on cable, and asked me if I were willing to be interviewed and post the video, because he thought it was really a great message. So that led to also reaching out and say, if we all have stories, we all have something inside that we can contribute that can inspire other people. So my reaching out to this group was, I have a message, I want to share it, and who better than this Italian group also to share what's going on in Italy. And I'm pretty sure many of you are following, if not day by day, week by week, what's going on. I speak to my every single day. I have family in Bologna, which is just below the big red zone. I have family in Florence, and then my mom and my sister and family are in the south, where the impact is not being as big. So, I just, I'm on pins and needles given the situation. And I've been in home lockout, if you will, since the situation started in Italy. I think I'm on my day 21 in the house. So anyway, while this is a critical moment, a crisis, and we all have the tendency to absorb news from wherever, and we go in and out of feeling a little depressed, demoralized, but it's a situation that we're starting to get accustomed to. We're full of fear, apprehension for the future. And my hope is that we take this moment to learn something, to start reflecting more deeply, because in my opinion, there won't be normal anymore. And I do believe that normal was what caused us to get here. And so as we look at this situation, we have to focus on ourselves first. This isn't the time to point fingers. This isn't the time to blame politics. This is everybody has a purpose to dig in deeply inside of yourself and say, what can I change of the way I've been, so that the future I'm leaving behind or leaving for my grandchildren is different, because we can't continue going forward the way we have, because nature, I think, is sending us a big message. So I just wanted to share that story. I wanted to share that thought. The update in Italy I want to give you is today I finally felt a little more relaxed. I've been watching the situation, researching every single area. And as you know, it's been heartbreaking to see 800, 900 people dying every day. Definitely the curve is starting to split, where there is less new cases and more people are healing, are coming out of the hospital and going home. So today was encouraging because the rates have dropped, the death toll has dropped to the 600 a day from the 800, 900, and the other curve is going up, and that's the people that are healing, and the incidence of new cases is going down. So it's very hopeful, but what does it mean for us? For us in any other country who is at a different phase, it means that we have to stop playing the games of, oh, this is another flu, oh, the politician this, oh, the politician that. We all have to take it seriously and minimize contact with other people, because especially in this country, when we don't know where to go for testing, when we don't even have the kits to test, we don't even know if we have it, and if we're touching things, we're passing it around. So this is my contribution, to take it seriously, learning from my own family and my worries, and I wanted to share it with you. So the other thing is this way of connecting at least gives us hope. It gives us energy to be together, energy to say hi, to express gratitude, to for that cultivate the sense of belonging and hope, rather than being bogged down by all this negativity and let it affect us morally and psychologically. So that's what I want to share. I'm going to share my screen to show you the other company that most of you probably know me as the travel guy, but I also have this company that specializes in leadership development, and we do um, a lot of diversity training, intercultural training, leadership skills, emotional intelligence, awareness, all those kind of things. And I'm going to share my screen, share with you the website that you can then at your own visit. So this is called the Cultural Global Labs. And if you go to the website, cultural-globallabs.com, as you see up top, you can then visit and read more about our why and what we do. If you'd like to stay informed, you can sign up for the newsletter. And really soon, we're going to open up to membership and share the resources of incredible faculty all over the globe that have incredible experience and been published. They're professors, and they share their resources with our members. The membership fee will be very small, nothing very serious. That gives you some benefits anyway. And then the other thing that I want to show you, in case you haven't seen it or haven't heard that interview on cable during the Italian Hour, is actually the video that I posted and I actually built myself. Let me see if I can move this out and then play this for you. Okay, so I'm gonna try and play the video. Can you all see it?
It is no surprise that during unprecedented circumstances like the current one, under the attack of an invisible virus, COVID-19, that we feel afraid, confused, depressed, and helpless. Add to the stressful situation the lack of an empathic, responsible, well-rounded leadership that is spinning society into chaos and irrational behavior, and you get total panic. So do we not wonder what's the sense in this situation that has forced us to change the way we live? Shouldn't you put aside your political affiliations and think of the earth and humanity as the place in which we exist? What if COVID-19 was the soul of our earth trying to talk to us? Think of it as God if you believe, or as the sole owner of the earth telling us what we have been ignoring for decades. To stop regressing and for a change start evolving responsibly. To stop treating nature as your trash can. To stop treating one another with disrespect, indifference, hate, and prejudice. To stop feeding your egoism, your persona. To stop superficial, materialistic, and inconsiderate behavior. To stop being obsessed with appearances. Was our biggest problem, and COVID-19 is inviting us to solve it. So start eliminating, dropping, erasing what limits you. Focus on life, yours, your children's, your loved ones. Protect it, attend to it, nourish it. I hope the isolation we are experiencing is reminding us of the value of life, nature, relationships, oxygen, air, water. I hope we will consider living the rest of our life in the simplest ways possible, that we will make an effort to know our neighbors, to express gratitude, to make real friends, to use less resources, to spread love and compassion. Shift your perspective, shift your consciousness and action. The time is now.
All right, I'm gonna pause it. And if anybody has questions or comments, we can open up to a little discussion until we have Zoom time. If you want, Tonya, you can unmute everybody.
Okay, I was just looking at that.
We are unmuting everybody because we could hear noises, so we muted everybody. And so if you now want to talk.
Oh no, okay. Unmute. Unmute. Okay. There we go. I think everybody is unmuted.
The one that hit me.
Hi, Pat. Do you want to ask a question or say something?
Well, I think this time about looking at taking care of our planet. And, you know, I think even with kids at home, and Tonya, you being a teacher,
Yeah.
Developing activities and ways to encourage kids to take care of the planet, to teach them about that.
Absolutely. Tendency to protect the kids, right? I think it's courageous for parents, an act of courage to take their kids, however small they are, however young they are, to say, this is what's going on. You know, try to relate the message to them so that they understand how critical their action, their future actions are, and teach them things that sensitize them toward nature, loving, you know, respect. This is a unique time that we're trapped in the house, and maybe rashly so that we spend more time with our kids, with our family, with our friends.
Thank you.
Yeah, I keep thinking about the kids at home and wondering how they're going to be changed by this, especially, you know, I teach kindergarten through fifth graders, and everything just came to a screeching halt, and they're definitely going to be changed by this. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to take every opportunity to teach them, because they don't have enough critical thinking to put everything together. But as
Right.
parents, you know, they definitely can. Okay, so you can see now we can stay on longer as a first timer. It's been upgraded, so they're not kicking us out.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so maybe Tonya, as an educator of kids, you can also share, you know, what are some activities that you've been seeing other people are doing. I can tell you, a friend of mine who's working at home with 2 kids, and I believe her kids are, I want to say 9 and 11 or 12. And it's funny because she has put on the door a huge piece of white paper. And because she needs to get her work done, she has allocated to every hour of the day what they are supposed to do. So 9 a.m. breakfast, you know, 10 a.m. free time, or 11 a.m. reading. And so she's giving them, and then she's telling them to self-manage it. You know, so it teaches them responsibility, that you don't need a teacher to tell you to stop doing certain things, but you have to take it seriously, that if I say only play video games for half an hour from this time to that time, that you will come to a stop and then move on to the schedule.
Yeah, I think it's going to create some independence in them as well, because they're going to have to manage, you know, themselves, which is going to be interesting for some kids, especially if they're not at home with an adult, which some of my students I know are not, because their parents are in the essential
Right.
jobs, etc. Pat has some great ideas too. I was just reading her
Can or not.
comments. Yeah. And Pat had the added, you are also a counselor, right, Pat?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So I don't know if you would want to share anything.
Well, I'm, right now I'm thinking of my 15 great grandkids. By the way, Patricia Prentice keeps coming up on the screen here, and I'm not Patricia Prentice, so
Um,
just
Why is that?
wanted to know
'Cause
that.
there's two Patricias.
oh, right. Sorry. Okay, there's two Patricias here. That's right.
Okay, but I think a good resource that Barry and I have found was the David Attenborough videos. And then I think you could even develop questions from that. Where in our neighborhood or where in our community would the particular theme of a video be? And I think go ahead, Antimo.
No, I didn't say anything.
And I think for especially like maybe middle school kids or kids who are a little bit older, but these are wonderful resources.
Anything over? Okay. I hope that he gives more information.
Okay. I think maybe it's the other Patricia's turn.
Yeah, so when the microphones are unmuted, if you make a noise or you're trying to speak, the system will put that name up as if.
I see.
Okay.
Okay.
So Patricia Prentice, were you trying to say something?
I'm not hearing anything.
She made a chat or a comment on chat about Khan Academy being a great free online site. It really is, yeah.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
It's started as a math. I think it's mostly math and science, but you can pretty much type any topic into Khan Academy, and you'll get like a little tutorial video. I think it's helped a lot of kids in the subject of math.
Great,
Mhm.
great. And there are lots of things that can be done just outside in your backyard, observing how things grow, observing, are there birds, are there bees, are there butterflies, are there pollinators? Just even counting them, even for the littlest ones, they would probably love to count them. They get excited about every one. Get a bird feeder.
Yeah.
If you don't have one. What have you done in your classroom, Tonya?
So we've transitioned to online. They're calling it distance learning. And it's interesting because I teach STEAM,
like there's
science,
two of us on
technology,
here.
engineering, arts, and mathematics. So my
Not really
topic is pretty broad.
joining in and talking instead of.
But I
being
think what
chat.
I see is more the participation.
Other people are just kind of watching, but not.
No, if anybody was watching, it would show up.
Oh.
Let me double check. Anyway, it's let's say there's 43 students in one of the classes, and I might get a response of
Well,
kids
he
doing
needs to be. It's his thing.
the activities. So
I don't
You know what? We've got two conversations.
These
I
other-
know I might have to go.
When that happens, you can just mute that person
Okay,
if they're wanting to participate.
I'm not sure who is talking, but anyway, yeah.
The other Patricia's name keeps popping up.
So maybe that, yeah. Yeah, it's mostly about having an adult at home to help them do some of the activities and resources that are being sent their way. It's just
Mhm.
not the same as having them in a classroom and being able to interact.
Right.
So there's a
That,
lot of great resources, but again, without that kind of help to engage.
mhm.
And a lot of the kids do have that, but a lot of them also don't have that. So,
Right. No substitute for a warm human body who cares, you know.
yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah. So, Antimo,
Uh,
do you want to say
well,
something?
my message has been delivered. I hope that this, as a function also for you guys as a test, it is possible to stay connected. If this continues and you want to meet again for the month of May, you may just want to find another presenter of some sort, and then even within the group, or even simply as a check-in. If you don't
Yeah.
have a presenter, just check in on each other, see how everybody's doing, and maybe think about something to share that makes everybody laugh, that is appropriate and sensitive, but just to keep morale up. So because this isn't too difficult of a tool to figure out. The beginning, actually we did it pretty well. The beginning is, how do I mute, how do I show my picture? But as you start doing this over and over, it becomes slick, and
mhm.
effective.
Well, I'm pretty proud of myself for doing it tonight.
Me too. I was a little nervous,
Never
but
done.
I think it went very well.
What are restrictions like in Italy? Well, right now, Patricia Prentice has asked, what are the restrictions in
Oh,
Italy?
I see that.
Right,
Yeah.
right now, they're still uh, completely must stay at home. They have issued a permit for those who have very critical reasons to be out, that they have to carry with them. There are huge fines, over €1,000 if you get caught for no reason of being outside. There is only a few people at a time allowed in the supermarkets. Here, I go now a couple of times when it's being regulated, and in my opinion, there's still too many people. And also, masks are, you must have a mask when you're outside. So those are some of the restrictions still going on. I believe they are trying to reinforce them until the 1st of May.
Mm.
I've been just devastated when I look at the death toll there. I can't even.
Yeah, it's right now, as of today, we are we're close to 17,000. But it's again, people say, well, don't focus on that.
No,
I don't.
yeah.
I mean, it depends who you are. For me, I watch that every day because I want to make sure that my parents are okay, because it kind of started to migrate to the south, and the south has got worse and worse over time. And now finally, it's really showing signs of a consistent slowdown, and consistently the people that are healing are going up. So now the danger though is, and we've seen it in other countries, and hopefully we won't make the same mistake, is that when there is this sense that things are improving, and the media or politicians start even tossing around the idea that, oh, maybe by the mid of April, things are better and we can go out. Then they start their anxiety and their expectation of wanting to go out. But then the worst that can happen is that they go out and there is another relapse, versus it's better to say, let's stay inside until we really have seen a major flatten in the curve, and then move around with lots of precautions. So
Yeah.
There was an article too that they were looking at people that they were testing people to see if they had the antibodies for coronavirus, and seeing if
right.
they could let those people go out first and see how that went. but there's, even then they were saying they're not sure if it's
Correct.
really, they're really protected or not.
Right.
So they don't have enough information to really figure
And
out when they can start letting people out.
You're correct. I have several friends that are nurses that are right in the middle of the worst crisis. The poor, they're sleeping like 3-4 hours a day. They're just so tired. But they were saying exactly that there is speculation about that, but there isn't, things haven't slowed enough to dedicate research people to those instances. They're still taking care of the sick people, right? So it's hopefully, if we have consistent slowdown, they can then allocate more researchers to the variables that they are considering to observe what's working.
Yeah, I'm really curious about all the information coming out about the antibodies and all of that.
It's been very nice to see Dr. Fauci here in the U.S. And Dr. Birx be the voice of reason and the informed voices. You hear so many different voices, but for me, I listen to those two and kind of push out the stuff, and I find that helpful.
Yeah, we each have to create our own process because there is definitely a misinformation overload. And these days, anybody can go on the internet, create fake pages to share all kinds of different information. So there is everything under the surface of the sun out there. But the reality is we have to identify 2-3 sources that are responsible, reliable with world reputation, and listen to those, because even when they themselves caught themselves saying something that wasn't fully proven, they're going to go back and prove their theory, and they would say, well, we tested that, didn't work, we said that didn't work. They are the one that keep us in line and true on the situation. So, but again, we live in a world influenced by all kinds of things, different views, politics and media, and it's very tough to get to the bottom of what's really going on.
That's why I like to focus on the health experts as opposed to people who give opinions or spin theories, because like you say, Antimo, there are opinions from all over, you know, and for me, go to the scientists is the best way to go.
And Patricia Prentice, we've been reading your messages. Thank you. So you guys, again, I'm not a press conference type of person. I just wanted to share my little message and make sure that everybody is also okay. You know, respect as much as you can the staying at home. It's for the best interest of everybody, and especially your immediate family, because sometimes the danger is that you could, you know, pass it on to each other. Like my dad is 83, and I had to drilling into him, stop going out. You know, but I don't have anything to do. It's like you gotta hear what people are saying, that you have to stop, and even going just. And every once in a while, I would say, but I'm simply going to the countryside, talking to the trees. I said, yes, but then you're going to go stop at the gas station and you're putting gas in your own car, and who knows who else touched that pump. And then you come home and you're sharing life with your wife, and who knows what's going on. So stay put.
Yeah, my dad is 83, and the same thing. We tried to tell him to stop going out about a month ago, and we got a lot of back talk. And he said he had a cold in January, so he already had the virus and he was immune, is what he said.
Awesome.
And I said, I don't think you had it, because he has a lung condition. And I said, I think if you had it, you would have wound up in the hospital. So finally he listened. I'm not sure what quite turned him around, but it was pretty funny, the things that he thought of to, you know, resist listening to us. So
Hey,
thank you.
Johnny said that Jim's mom in Sicily or from Sicily will turn 98 on Easter Sunday. Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow,
Wow.
How wonderful.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
amazing. Yeah. Well, you guys, one other thing that I will share with you that it's been, I've been in this country for 25 years. And my grandparents and my parents are children of the both World War One and Two. I was born in 1972, and I was brought up with stories from the war by my grandparents. The Americans were stationed right a few 2-3 miles outside of the town, and my grandfather would bike and bring wine and food to them in exchange for bars of chocolate. And so I heard all kinds of stories. I even on my mom's side, my grandma was the sister of 12 kids, and one of them was ended up fighting in World War II and never came home, and they don't even know where he died and where, nothing, zero. So to me, my reflections is that here I am in America, where please don't take my statements as negative or hurtful. I don't mean to do any of that, but I reflect on this and I go, yes, you can say you've had war here. You can say that Vietnam told me that they would bake bread once every 2 weeks, and they would eat a slice in water, and sometimes that on days on end. That's all they had to eat. So I grew up with this teaching, with these stories that have improved me, this style of life, and then coming to the US, where my God, wow, here is this completely different lifestyle. Sure, it changed me, but guess what? I am very thankful that all those teaching, all those stories resonated and continue to be alive in me, that thanks to that upbringing, I can now say, sure, I won't make one penny this year because everybody has canceled and all of that. But thanks to that upbringing, I was able to save some money, and I can say, okay, if I am careful in my spending, if I don't turn the lights on, if I only turn the heat on a couple of hours a day, that's what I'm doing. Do I need to do that? Probably not, but that's what my heart tells me to do because of that upbringing. And so, I feel like in this country, people have always wanted to live at their best, even if they didn't really have the means. And then something like this happens, we go into the biggest crisis of people losing businesses and houses and all of that. So that's where I go, war does teach you some unbelievable lessons. And maybe we can look at these times as a world war, that it's like an invisible enemy. So I don't know. That's what it's in my heart and gut.
I appreciate that, Antimo.
Yeah, thank you.
I got similar lessons from my grandmother, who came over to this country in the middle of World War II, or World War One. It was. I'm sorry.
She's got to be pretty old.
Anyway, I appreciate the lessons that we got from our grandparents and learning what they had to go through during the war.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Antimo, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Antimo.
I think it was very valuable.
Great.
there's always some wisdom and some laughter to be gained from Antimo.
Yes,
Okay,
very much.
guys, you guys all stay safe.
Thank you. And we'll be
You
in
too.
touch. All right.
Alrighty. Ciao, ciao. Buonanotte.
Ciao.